Good morning, everybody. How's everybody feeling today? All right. Do we have any special requests this morning? No? All right. Let's start on our bellies today. So bring your head right up to the top of your mat. You can make a little pillow with your hands. You can bring the arms by the sides, palms up. See what feels better for your neck. Let your big toes come together. Let your heels fall apart. Whatever side you'd like to turn your head to, you choose. Just close the eyes and settle. Let the body be still. Let the body relax. Start to notice the breath without really controlling the breath. Start to notice the thoughts without judging the thoughts. Start to notice how your body is feeling this morning as you give it a little scan, checking in. What's going on? What do you need from your practice this morning? What brought you here onto your mat today? Take a moment and set an intention for your practice this morning. Try to phrase your intention in a positive way. And without opening the eyes, just simply pick the head up and turn it in the opposite direction, lying on the opposite cheek. Still either supporting the cheek with the hands or just letting your cheek rest on the mat, arms at the sides, palms up. Really begin to deepen your breath now. Come into that full, complete, three-part yogic breath that you're so familiar with. Filling the belly, but the belly is kind of prohibited from really expanding here, so you're going to feel that lift coming into the low back. Feel the expansion through the rib cage. And feel that lift coming into the upper back as you fill the very uppermost portion of your lungs. Try to maintain this three-part breath throughout your practice this morning. And then gently placing your forehead on your yoga mat, removing your hands from underneath the cheek, bringing your hands right next to your chest as you bring your ankles together. Make sure that your fingertips are behind the tops of your shoulders, so slide those hands back right beside your chest. Press into the palms, grip with your fingers. On an inhale, send your chin forward and lift through the back of the head, and as you exhale, lower back down slowly. Inhale, curl up. And exhale, slowly come back down. And continue through a few rounds of moving in and out of cobra. But try to use your back muscles to bring you up rather than the strength of your arms here. The next time you inhale and lift up, you're going to hold at the top. Press heavily into the tops of your feet, all 10 of those toes pressing down. Drag your heart forward, stretch your toes back behind you. Take one more inhale. Exhale, lowering the forehead, curling the toes under. Inhaling, pressing up to the knees, and lift the hips to the sky. Come up into your first downward facing dog. Let your head hang heavy as you push the floor away from you through both hands. Hips are high, chest pressing back. Start to walk those heels up and down. Press each heel down one more time, and then see if you can press both heels down at the same time. Good. As you inhale, rise high on the toes, soften the knees and look forward, and walk your feet slowly up to meet your hands. Come up halfway as you inhale, look forward, fold over the legs as you exhale. Inhale again, halfway up, lean into the toes, gaze out in front of you. Exhale, hinge from the hips and fold back down. Inhale last time, halfway up. Take a grip on the back of the legs this time, pulling yourself down into a more active forward bend. Weight in the toes, not just the heels. Hips coming forward over the ankles. Try to keep your toes relaxed. Don't grip with them. Draw the shoulders back away from the ears. Good. Releasing the grip on the back of the legs, hands come to the floor, and as you inhale, lift the heart up and away from the ground. Crawl your fingers forward a little bit away from your feet. And as you heel toe the feet together, if you need to bend the knees to have your hands on the ground, bend the knees. Push into your right foot. Inhale, lift the left leg up behind you. Send the crown of the head out in front. Send the sole of that left foot straight back. Inhale that left leg just a little higher. As you exhale, lower the left foot down, but just before it touches the floor, take it out to the left. Trying to keep those heels in line with one another. Take another inhale, lift the left leg just a bit higher, and then lower your left foot right next to your right. And inhale, send your right leg back behind you. Send the crown of the head forward, press through the sole of that right foot now. Pull that low belly in, breathe. The chest continues to lift up and away from the earth. Take another inhale, lift the right leg a little higher. Start to lower the right foot down next to the left, but just before your foot touches, feet are in line, send your right leg out to the right. Try to keep the heels in line with one another. So bring your right leg forward in line with your left leg, but take it out to the side. Take another inhale, bring it up a little bit higher, and then bring your right foot next to your left. Walk your hands back and fold over those legs. Good. As you inhale, look out in front of you, long spine. As you exhale, plant your palms and step back to the top of a push-up. So with your shoulders over your wrists, you can be on your toes or on your knees. Keep the tailbone tucked and that low belly lifted. Fingerprints are gripping your mat. Now look forward as you inhale. Lower shoulders and hips at the same time as you exhale. Untuck the toes, chin forward, lift through the back of the head. Really stretch those toes back, pull the heart forward. Pushing into your hands, inhale a little bit higher. Tuck the toes, press up and back to downward facing dog, and breathe. Stretch it out. Press the floor away through those hands, pushing into your thumbs and pointer fingers. Good. On an inhale, allow your right leg to lift up behind you, nice and slow. Flex the foot, spread your toes. Try to inwardly spiral that upper right thigh. Turning your right big toe slightly into the left. Inhale the right leg a little bit higher and then take a big step forward with that right foot. Walk the right foot closer to the right hand. Start to wiggle that left foot back as far as you can take it. So we want to bring the heel of the right foot all the way up in line with the heel of the hands. Take your gaze out in front of you. Press that left leg as straight as you can get it. Rise to the pads of the fingers. Can that left foot go a little bit further back? Right knee over right ankle, shoulders over wrists. Breathe deeply. Left hand now is going to come in a little closer to that right foot. Keeping yourself on the pads of the fingers, take that right arm, lift it up towards the ceiling, and see if you can look up towards that thumb. Keep pressing your left leg as straight as you can. Keep spiraling that chest, open to the right. Send the crown of the head forward, press that left heel back behind you. Slow, even breathing. One more inhale, reach, reach, reach. As you exhale, the right hand comes down. Plant both your palms. Step back to the top of a push-up, shoulders over wrists. Inhale to look forward. Exhale to lower slow. Curl into your cobra. Exhale, pulling the heart forward. Inhale a little higher. Tuck the toes. Exhale, downward dog. Press into your thumbs, into your pointer fingers. Press into the inner edges of your feet as well. Big toes a little closer than the inner heels are. Inhale, lift your left leg up slowly. Try to keep the toes in the kneecap pointing straight down to the ground, inwardly spiraling that upper left thigh. Keep the weight even in both your hands. Try to maintain your breath. Inhale that left leg just a bit higher and then take a big step forward with the left foot. And if your foot doesn't quite make it to your hands, try to get that foot there. Walk the left foot a little closer to the left hand. Start to wiggle that right foot back behind you. Trying to bring the heels of the hands and the heel of the left foot in line. As you look out in front of you, pull the left hip back, shift the right hip forward. Keep pressing that right leg as straight as you can. Keep drawing that low belly up and in. Control the flow of air with the throat. So we're going to take the right hand a bit closer. Don't bring it right in next to it. We want to make sure that shoulder is over wrist. And when you're ready, inhale. Take that left arm and reach it up towards the ceiling. Look up towards the thumb if you can, or even out to the left. Keep pressing into that left big toe and inner left heel. Try not to let your knee fall too far out to the side. Shoulders relaxed and down, away from the ears. Take one more inhale. Reach, reach, reach. Exhale, the left hand comes down. Plant both your palms flat on your mat. Pick your left foot up. It joins the right. You're at the top of a push-up. Look forward as you inhale. Lower slowly as you exhale. Take it through to Cobra, bhujapidasana. Take another inhale, come up a little bit higher. Tuck your toes, press up and back to downward facing dog, and breathe. Try to press those heels gently down. Try to push the chest back. Good. On your inhale, come onto the toes, soften the knees and look forward, and let your feet come forward to your hands. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold chest to thighs. Inhale, this time coming all the way up. Arms reach up, look up. Palms come together, bring your hands down to your heart, and we inhale, palms press, lift the arms up. Looking forward, lean to your right. Inhale to center. And then lean to your left. Inhale to come up and continue. Exhale, sway right. Inhale, center. Nice and slow to the left. And a few more rounds. Try to keep the chest pointing straight ahead. Try not to wear your shoulders up like earrings right underneath the lobes of the ears. One more time to the right. One more time to the left. When you come back up from the left side, look up and take it into a little back bend and hold it. Lift your heart towards the ceiling, push your hips forward. Maintaining that breath. Inhale, come all the way up, and now reach forward, fold all the way down. Look forward as you inhale. Take a grip on the ankles or calves. Pull yourself down as you exhale. Try to keep just as much weight in your toes as you have back in your heels. Use the strength of your arms here. Work those biceps, pulling yourself down. Good. Release the hold of the ankles. Plant your hands on the ground. Step, walk, or hop back to the top of a push-up. Set your right knee down on the ground right underneath your hip and pivot and plant your left foot directly behind your right foot. Bring your right hand in now in line with your right knee. So your right hand, your right knee, your right ankle, and your left arch start in a line. If you need the kickstand, slide the right foot back. Left hand to the left hip now. Stack the shoulders. Left arm floats up towards the ceiling. Maybe you can look up towards that thumb, and as you turn your palm forward, start to reach the arm over the ear. Press the earth away from you through that right hand. Stretch out that whole left side. Do you have a little bit more? Maybe that left leg can float up as you lean a bit more weight into your right hand. If your left leg is lifted, flex the foot. Push out through the heel. Good. If you've lifted the left foot, nice and slow, set it down, suction cup it. Inhale, left arm reaches up. As you look down, set your hand down, set your knee down, preparing to change sides. We're going to straighten the right leg and plant the right foot directly behind the left foot. Bring your left hand in line with your left knee. So line it all up. Turn your right big toe in a little bit so your right foot is parallel with the short edge of your yoga mat. So Sarah, turn your right big toe in a little bit. If you need the kickstand, left foot slides back a bit. Right hand to the right hip to start. Roll the right shoulder back and then float that right arm straight up to the ceiling. Turn your palm forward and reach that arm forward. Keep gripping with those left fingers. Rotate that right pinky finger down towards the ground just a little bit as you reach over the head. Try not to bend the elbow. If you did so on the other side, a bit more weight comes into the left hand, allowing that right leg to start to float up and away from the ground. If you're lifting the foot, keep it flexed. Press through that left hand, really stretch out that right side. If your right foot is lifted, slowly lower it. Inhale, right arm reaches back up. As you exhale, look down, set your hand down, bring your hands back to shoulder distance and step back to plank. Look forward as you inhale. Lower slow as you exhale. Curl into your cobra, use your back, not your arms. Stretch your toes back, pull your heart forward. Can you lift your hands? Take them back like jet airplane wings, palms facing down. Squeeze between the shoulder blades. Lifting both legs now up, stretching your toes back. Take another inhale, come up, up, up. Exhale, lower the feet, the forehead. Hands beside the chest. Press slowly up to the hands and knees. Let your big toes touch. Sit back onto your heels. Relax the head. Relax the arms where they feel comfortable. or in child's pose, balasana. Just a few breaths here. Moving from extension to flexion. And then reaching those hands forward, pulling yourself up to your hands and knees, retucking the toes and coming back into your downward facing dog. On an inhale, allow your right leg to lift up behind you. Press out through the heel and the ball of the foot. Take another inhale, lift that leg just a bit higher, and then take a big step forward with the right foot. Plant your left foot now on a 90-degree angle compared to your right. So point your left toes straight out to the left and line up your right heel with your left arch. Take your right forearm up onto your right thigh and your left hand up onto your left hip. How far back can you walk your left foot here? Pressing into that right arm so you're not really dropping and leaning into that right leg. Turn your right palm up to face the ceiling and now reach your left fingers up to the sky. Can you look up towards that left hand? Turning your palm forward, take your left arm over your left ear. Sinking those hips down as you continue to bend deeply into your right knee, spiral your chest, open to the left. Try to keep your left arm as straight as possible here. Little tuck to the tailbone, little draw in through the low belly. On your next inhale, take your left arm straight up to the sky. As you exhale, look down to your right big toe. And now we're going to inhale, come up. Slide the left hand down the left leg, turn your right palm up, and take your right arm, reach it all the way back behind you. Turning your heart up towards the sky. Take another inhale, really extend back, and now exhale, windmill your hands down to frame that right foot. Come onto the ball of the left foot and step your right foot back and just press back into your down dog. Pressing the chest back, pushing those heels down. Good, let's inhale, lift the left leg up. Take another deep breath in, bring it up, up, up. Exhale, big step forward with that left foot. Right foot planting on a 90-degree angle, left heel and right arch in line. So with your left knee bent deeply, right over top of the ankle, bring your left forearm onto your left thigh and your right hand onto your right hip. And then turn your left palm up to face the ceiling. Roll the right shoulder back. So turn your left palm up, like your hand is holding a plate. Let your right arm reach straight up in the air. Now start to really roll that right shoulder back. See if you can look up towards that hand and then turn the palm forward. Start to reach over the ear. And keep spiraling your chest open to the right here. Let your left knee move towards the baby toe edge of the foot a little bit. Try not to grip with your left toes at all. Keep them relaxed. Sit your hips a little lower if you can. Maintain that flow of air. On your inhale, your right arm reaches straight up to the ceiling. As you exhale, look down to that left foot. And now we inhale, come up. Turn the left palm up or reach the right hand down the right leg. Take that left arm, reach it all the way back behind you. Keep that deep bend in that left knee if you can. Spiral your chest open towards the ceiling. Take another inhale, really reach it back. And as you exhale, windmill your hands down to either side of the left foot. Come onto the right toes. Left foot steps back, press back to down dog. Pushing the heels down as you push the chest back. Slowing your breathing. Slowing your thoughts. Inhale onto the toes. Bending your knees, looking forward. Step your feet up about 1 to 2 feet just behind the hands and drop down into a squat where you're sitting down on your heels. Keep your hands shoulder distance and flat on your mat. Lifting your hips away from the heels, start to bring your knees onto the backs of your arms above your elbows and start to lean some weight into your hands as you look forward about maybe 12 to 18 inches past your hands. Maybe you can lift one set of toes off the floor. Keep hugging your elbows into a shoulder distance. Keep pulling in through the low belly. Maybe the other toes can float up for a moment. Maybe all of your toes can float up. Make sure that you're looking forward. Balanced on those hands. Keep the core working here. Beautiful. Take one more inhale. Lowering the toes. Step back into a downward dog. Good. Inhale onto the toes. Bend the knees, look forward. Bring your feet to the outside edges of your hands. So your hands have not moved, the heels of the hands have not lifted. Grip with those hands, hug the elbows in. Can you let yourself rest onto the backs of the arms here, your thighs, but keep your elbows hugging in. Look forward a little bit in front of you. So you want to create a shelf with your arms. So you're not trying to drop into a squat, you're trying to support yourself on the backs of the arms. Maybe your feet can start to crawl forward. Maybe your feet can start to walk towards one another. Maybe you can cross your ankles. Squeezing, hugging in, maybe you can lift the feet. Breathe. So if you've lifted the feet, you need to get them back to where they were. It's a little trickier, at least I find. I always end up on my bum. So if you can get those feet back around to the outsides of the hands, and then you can step back into your downward facing dog. Oh, I tried. Good. As you inhale, come forward to plank, and as you exhale, lower all the way down to the belly, tops of the feet and the forehead. Clasp your hands behind your back, squeeze your shoulder blades together, and try to straighten your arms. Send your knuckles towards your heels. Now squeezing your legs tightly together, squeeze your shoulder blades together on an inhale, start to lift the forehead, the nose, the chin, and the chest. And then lift those hands just off the buttocks and send those knuckles towards your heels. So it's not about getting your hands up high, it's just about lifting them away from the body. Pull your heart forward, stretch those toes back. Can you lift the legs up as well? Is that available? Find your edge. Breathe. Take another inhale, come up even higher, and then let everything settle back down as you exhale. Plant your hands beside your chest. Press up to the hands and the knees, and sink back into child's pose with a different variation to the legs. Maybe wider knees, maybe closer, and relax. Let your hips just sway side to side. Bring your hips to center. Bring your hands to either side of your head. Press into those fingers or palms and slowly come up. Bring your hands back to the top of your mat. Retuck your toes. Take it up and back to downward facing dog. Good. As you inhale, rise high on the toes, soften the knees and look forward. And as you exhale, bring your feet to your hands. Inhale, come up to a flat back. And as you exhale, fold over those legs. Inhale, reaching all the way up. Palms come together. Exhale, hands come to the heart. Relax the arms to the sides for a moment. Roll the palms open. Take a couple of deep breaths. And then as you open the eyes, bring the hands to the hips, lift the right toes up off the floor, fan them out, and then relax those right toes back down. Shift onto the ball of your left foot, start to bend your right knee. So as we bend our right knee and imagine we were sitting down into a chair, we're gonna cross the left leg over the right, toes can rest on the ground. Foot can lift off the ground and squeeze into the right leg. Some of you might even be able to hook your toes around behind, but try to keep your hips pointing straight ahead as we move into our eagle pose. So tuck the tail, draw the belly in. Arms come out like wings. So we're gonna cross the right arm over top of the left arm in front of us. Option 1 is to reach for the opposite shoulders. Option 2 is to intertwine the forearms as well, turning the palms to face each other. And then draw your shoulders down. So pull your shoulders down away from your ears. So don't lift the chin. Keep the back of the neck long. So relax your elbows down to start. Pull the shoulders down. Now, once the shoulders are down, the elbows can start to lift, but don't let the shoulders lift. Squeeze those legs together. Bend that right knee a little deeper. Maybe you can hinge from your hips and let your torso come forward. Maybe the elbows come down towards that left thigh. On an inhale, if you folded forward, bring the torso up. Good, we're gonna unwind it. So on an inhale, start to unravel the arms, send that left leg out, and then relax the left foot as you relax the arms. Give the right leg a gentle shake. Did a lot of work supporting you. And then stand evenly in both feet, close the eyes for a moment, and just observe. Observe the difference that you feel between the right leg and the left leg, with the shoulders and arms. And mentally prepare yourself for your eagle on the left side. So eyes open, hands to hips, left toes lift up, spread out, and relax down. We come onto the ball of the right foot. So we start by bending the left knee as deeply as we can, sitting really low. We've created a shelf now with our left leg. We're gonna cross the right leg on top of it. Maybe the toes of the right foot rest on the floor. Maybe they just squeeze into the side of the leg. Maybe you can hook the toes around, but check to make sure your hips point forward still. Tuck the tailbone. Arms again come out. This time it's left arm over right. Either reaching for the shoulders or intertwining the forearms. Now keep the elbows down to start. Pull the shoulders down. And then the elbows start to lift, but don't lift the shoulders up. Keep the tailbone tucked, keep the low belly drawn in. Maintain the breath. If you hinged on the other side, you can fold right from those hips. Try not to round your back. So remember, knowing when you're at your limit is really important in your practice. Pausing before you pass your edge. If you folded, come back up. Shoulders come all the way back up over those hips. Good. On your next inhale, start to straighten the left leg. Send the arms out and the right leg out. And then release the limbs down. Give the left leg a gentle shake. And stand in Tadasana. Close the eyes for a moment and breathe. Slow the heart rate, slow the breath. Take a deep breath in. Hands to heart as you exhale. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale and fold all the way down. Inhale, look out in front of you. Plant your palms. Step, walk, or hop back to the top of a push-up. Press right back up to down dog here. Hips high, heels press down. Take a deep breath in, and on your exhale, lower your knees. Measure the distance between your knees to be equal to 2 of your fists wide. Good. And then remove the fists from in between the knees and wrap your hands around the upper arms just above those elbows. And then bring your elbows to the floor and crawl them forward away from your knees so that your knees are under your hips right now and your elbows are underneath your shoulders. Good. Swing your hands forward, make a basket as you interlace the fingers. Pinky finger that's on the bottom, tuck it in. Thumbs are pointing up towards the ceiling. So you're not making a fist, you're more making a basket with your hands. So let your head rest just inside that basket on the ground. Claire, bring your elbows a little closer for me. Good, so your head is lightly resting on the floor. Really drive down through your forearms. Pull your shoulders up and back away from your ears right now. So you can stay right here. Make sure your head is not resting on your hands, it's resting on the floor. If you want to take this pose further, you can curl your toes under. Lift your knees, straightening your legs, walking your feet towards your face. Good. John, bring your elbows in as well for me, a little bit closer together. Good. Some of you might be able to walk your feet in so close that your knees can hug into your chest. Maybe it's just one knee at a time, maybe it's both. If it's both and the toes have floated up and you're in a tuck, then maybe you can take it further. But really keep driving down through those elbows, those forearms, pulling the shoulders back away from the ears. Patty, watch your elbows. They've gone really wide. Let your knees come down for a moment. Bring those elbows in, maybe even a little closer than they are right now. Good. Pull those shoulders up and back away from the ears. Good. That's better. If those legs have come up and you're working in your headstand, maintain the breath. If your knees are resting on the ground and your head is resting on the ground, just allow for that flow of blood to come down to your head. It's very important that we take the body into an inversion from time to time. Now, if you're in headstand still, start to dismantle your pose, bending your knees, heels towards the buttocks, and then allowing your thighs to pull slowly in towards the chest, and then eventually the toes touch down. Walk the feet back, set the knees down, and take it back into child's pose. And breathe. Good, and we move from the king of all asanas to the queen of all asanas. So when you're ready, hands to either side of the head to press yourself up into Vajrasana. Roll over to one hip, let your legs swing around and come all the way down to lie on your back as we prepare for Salamba Sarvangasana, the queen, the mother of all asanas. Shoulders down. So making any adjustments, any necessary preparations for yourself, whether that's a blanket under the shoulders and upper arms, or you're just flat out on your back. Bringing the knees into the chest, arms at the sides. Pop those hips up off the mat. If you're in the back row of either side of the room, make sure you're not too close to the wall as you come back into a plow to start. So we use plow as our setup to walk the hands in, trying to bring those elbows into a shoulder distance. The hands then eventually plant on the low back. And maybe we can lift those legs up. Lift them up just till you feel as though you've got a good stretch happening for yourself. Don't go past your edge today. Listen to what your body is telling you. Eventually, over time, as the shoulders begin to open and those elbows come into that shoulder distance, we eventually get our bodies straight up and down. But it might be years before you get to that point. So be very patient. Be very kind to your body. Maintain the breath in and out through your nose. Keep it nice and slow, nice and steady. Now, allow your left leg to kind of fall over your face, but reach your right leg out in front of you at the same time, scissoring your legs open. So left leg over the face, right leg reaching forward. So you're not trying to get your left toes to the ground. Try to get your right foot to reach forward more. So Claire, keep your hands on your back for me and let your right leg come towards me more. Yeah. Now let's inhale, scissor your legs back together, and then let them fall open the other way. Right leg over the face, but the left toes reach forward. Nice. On an inhale, scissor those legs back together, and then lower both your legs slowly back down over your face. Press the backs of those knees gently open. If your toes touch the floor, your palms can touch the floor. If you're not in plow, you can just be in legs up in the air. We're just here for about 2 more breaths before we roll out. So you're going to press into your palms now, hands on the ground. Keep your head pressing into the floor and start to roll your upper back down to the ground. And then your mid back starts to lower. Try not to lift your head. Let that low back start to come down. If you've got your arms up and your legs up, bring your arms beside you now, because we're all going to lower our legs at the same time. So pushing your heels up towards the ceiling, start to lower both your legs down to the ground, but keep pushing your heels forward as your legs descend. And once your heels touch down, walk your feet towards your hands, planting your feet directly in front of your buttocks at a hip distance width. Arms hug the sides as you tuck the tail, press the back of the neck gently down now, and inhale, lift those hips up into bridge pose, Setu Bandhasana. Can you walk those hands a little closer together perhaps? If your thumbs just touched, maybe you can clasp the hands, rolling one arm at a time even further underneath you as you squeeze your shoulder blades together. And then really press the length of those arms down to the ground. Don't let them lift away from the floor. Keep your knees right over your ankles. Push those hips as high as they'll go. Press into your big toes, your inner heels, and take another inhale. Lift those hips up, up, up. Rise to the toes. Take the arms just out from under you so you can lower your upper back, mid back, low back. Heels touch down. Let your knees very loosely then come into your chest. Hug them in with your hands and just rock a little bit from side to side and massage your low back. Good. As you come back to center, transfer the grip to the back of your thighs, pop your hips up off the mat, and roll up and down the length of the spine 3 times. And your third time, when you roll back and come forward, extend your legs out. Pull the flesh from underneath those sitting bones. Pull all 10 toes back towards you. Hands beside the hips, squeeze between those shoulder blades. Lift through the crown of the head. So hands are right under the shoulders. Push your chest forward as you lift the heart away from the navel. On the inhale, reach the arms up, look up. Exhale, lean your heart as close to the toes as it'll go. Arms still beside the ears. We inhale, come up. Exhale, lean the chest forward. Don't drop the arms. Inhale, come back up. Really extend. Draw the low belly in and fold. Let your arms slowly come down and take a gentle grip with a bend in those elbows. Now drawing the belly back, drag that heart as close to the toes as it'll go. Start to relax your head all the way down. Close your eyes and breathe. Heart pulling towards the toes, toes pulling back towards the heart. Breathing as deeply as you can. Good. As you inhale, lift the chin, look forward. And as you exhale, arms back alongside the ears. We inhale, come all the way up. And on the exhale, we release the arms down. So you're going to point your toes, ankles together. Take your hands back, maybe a foot or so behind you, fingers pointing either straight forward or rotating those fingers around to point straight back. Maintaining that shoulder distance between your hands is very important. So make sure that there would be enough space between your hands for your feet to fit. Because oftentimes I see people in this one, their hands get really close. Keep them wide. Push into the heels now, push into the palms. Look at your navel. Inhale, lift your hips up. And try to press the soles of those feet towards the ground. Now really push the heart up. Maybe you can look straight up towards the ceiling above you. Maybe you can relax the head and look back behind you, but don't cause any pain to the neck. Keep pressing the soles of the feet down. Keep lifting those hips high. Take one more inhale, look forward, and exhale, lower the seat. Making sure your feet are at the top of your mat. Release one forearm at a time down. Lower your back and your head down. As you point your toes, reach your arms all the way over your head. Take a deep breath in, stretch the body out, and relax the arms down to your sides. Take your arms one at a time underneath your body, palms down. Try to get your thumbs next to one another. So really crawl those hands in. So John, you want to get your thumbs next to one another. So lift yourself up and slide your straight arms. So don't bend your elbows. Get your elbows to tuck right in underneath you as well. So we've started almost puffing up our chest here. Now, walking your hands as far down the backs of the legs as they'll go, start to point to your feet, but spread your toes at the same time. Inhale, lift your head, lift your shoulders, look at your belly, push your heart all the way up towards the ceiling, and then start to relax your head all the way back. Keep the shoulders lifted as you set the top of the head gently down on the ground. Push your heart towards the ceiling. Keep fanning out those toes. The throat is open. The chest is lifted here in Matsyasana, fish pose. Press into those forearms and lift the chest. Good. One last inhale. Exhale completely, and now inhale, lift the head just enough to tuck the chin, lower your back, lower your head down, release your arms out from under you. Walk your feet towards you. Let your knees come into your chest, and as you hold the knees, just do a little rocking from side to side. Massage your back. Try to let your head move freely with your torso. Roll back to center. Set your feet down on the ground. Bring your feet together. Let the soles of the feet connect. Let your knees open out to the sides and take your arms out into cactus pose. Elbows at shoulder height, fingers pointing straight back behind you as you bend those elbows. Trying to get your forearm to a 90-degree angle to your upper arm. And then let gravity pull those hands down. If the hands are really pulling away from the floor, take your hands a little wider until the backs of the hands can touch. And just breathe. If the backs of the hands are heavy and you want to lift the elbows a little higher, you might take your fingertips to join one another just above your head, making a diamond shape with the arms around the head, moving further into our goddess pose. And the last place we can take it is reaching right around for the opposite elbow with the hands. But every time we do this pose, we tend to always put the same arm on top and the same arm underneath. See if you can switch it up so it feels just slightly awkward from what you normally would do. Take another long, deep inhale. As you exhale, slowly unwind the arms, bringing them back down to your sides. Take your hands to those thighs and help your legs to come back up. Bring your knees into your chest, preparing for a spinal twist. Take your arms either to a T or to cactus, depending on your proximity to the wall there. Flexing your feet, pressing into those arms. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, start to lower your legs to the right, but hover them as you turn your head to the left. So the feet are lifted, the arms are pressing, both palms are pressing. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, legs to the left, head turns to the right. Hover those legs. Squeeze your knees together, squeeze your ankles together. Inhale to come back up. Exhale, take your legs to the right, let your head turn to the left, and before your left shoulder lifts away from the floor, set your feet down gently. You can turn your palms up if you'd like. Head is turned to the left. Take a couple deep breaths here. And you might find after several breaths have taken place that you can bring your knees in a little closer to your chest. Maybe they slide even closer to that right arm. Maybe you want to add the weight of your right hand to the outside of that left knee or thigh. Not through force, but just with a little extra weight, you might find yourself getting deeper into the twist. And just breathe in and out, slow and steady. Surrender your body to gravity and just breathe as deeply as you can. Try to relax through the low back as much as possible. Soften your face. Relax the jaw. Take another really long, slow, very deep breath in, filling, and then make sure that every last bit of stale air is squeezed out as you press into both arms, flex the feet. Inhale to center. Exhale, slowly transitioning to the other side. Before your right shoulder lifts, set your feet gently down. Palms can turn back up as you relax for a moment. Without pushing, without forcing to go further right away, give your body time to acclimatize and adjust because you were just in the complete opposite position. So we don't lift the left arm yet. We don't squeeze the knees up just yet. After several breaths have elapsed, then maybe the knees can slide in a little tighter. They come closer to the left arm. The right shoulder is still heavy. Maybe you want to add the weight of that left hand or arm to the outside of that right leg. Close your eyes if you can. Go inward. Let go of the distraction of the outside world. Start to focus to that inner place. Try to keep both shoulders heavy, both arms, shoulder blades relaxed. Let gravity do the work here for you, pulling you down. All you need to do is breathe deeply. Take another really long, deep breath in. Continue to fill as much as you possibly can. And when you exhale, try to really squeeze it all out. Press into the arms. Inhale to center. Reach for your knees with your hands. Squeeze those knees into your chest. And now draw your forehead or your chin up towards the knees and wrap your arms even more tightly around those legs. Take another inhale, and as you hold the breath, start to squeeze every muscle in your body one last time, even the face, scrunch it all up, tight, and then relax those muscles and make yourself ready for Shavasana. Maybe there's extra clothing you're grabbing, socks, a shirt, maybe a little pillow to cover the eyes. What do you need to be comfortable? The more comfortable you are, the less fidgety you will be. Try to move as quickly into your final pose of rest as you can without looking around, without checking in with anyone else. Try to really keep your focus within the confines of your own mat. Palms will face the ceiling, shoulder blades tucked underneath the body slightly. Chin is tucked and the neck is long. Start to relax your throat. No longer controlling the flow of air, just let it happen. Let every muscle of the body relax, pulled by gravity down towards the ground. Let all of your skin soften. Let all of your organs be heavy within the body. Let the bones be heavy and relaxed. The breath is very soft and gentle. Allowing the mind now and the 5 senses that serve it to become still. Letting awareness itself cease all activity and become watchful. Beginning our journey on the highest path, that path to samadhi, as we leave our physical practice behind. Take rest, let go. breath deepen and lengthen. Start to move your fingers and your toes, hands, feet, wrists, ankles, and then turn your head very slowly side to side, waking up the physical body. And as you roll the head back to that center position, start to slide your legs together, pointing your toes. Reach your arms all the way back behind you and take a long, deep breath in. Stretch the body as long as possible, and then relax the arms down to the sides. Draw your knees into your chest and just rock from side to side. Allow yourself to roll over onto your right side and just pause here. Release the hold of your legs and just breathe. And notice how you feel. Thanking yourself for this practice. When you're ready, with your eyes still closed, start to make your way very slowly up to seated with as little movement as possible. Elongate your spine, lift through the crown of the head. Bring your palms together, your hands at your heart center, and take a moment. Send a silent thank you out to those who came to join you in this space this morning. Thank you for allowing me to share these teachings of yoga with you. Ending our practice with an Om. Take an inhale. Hinging from the hips, letting your forehead release towards the floor in front of you. Your hands can come down as support if needed. Just seal in this practice that you just completed, letting it go. The divine light within me graciously acknowledges that same divine light within you. Namaste.